the other day I was going home from some drinks with some friends, and I was on the DLR, and I was sat listening to music, minding my own business. I was sat near four guys who were very laddie and boisterous and loud, and you know, they kind of dressed only to emphasise how straight they were if their behaviour didn't already. And granted, I know I don't look very masculine in the stereotypical sense, and yes, my fingernails were painted just as they are right now, but I literally did nothing to initiate what one of them said to me. And I mean, I was sat maybe 3 or 4 chairs away, and he goes, "Oi, gay boy, you can say clear of my dick, faggot." And I mean, while the temptation to perform an action on him was not even close to the forefront of my mind, it panicked me, and I don't know, he made me feel like really embarrassed, really ashamed, and scared. And though yes, I could have moved away, I thought, no, I'm gonna sit here as I am. But I mean, it was scary, and I lowered my head, and I listened to my music, and they were kind of laughing and all those things. And you know, I thought, whatever, you mean nothing to me anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then yesterday when I was walking to work, I could kind of see from a distance there were these like tradies outside one of the buildings, and I could kind of see them laughing as I was walking up to them, but I didn't know whether it was at me. And as I walked past them, one of the brave ones shouted, "Fucking faggot." And I was just like, and though everything inside of me wanted to be like, yeah, do you need me? Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't, and I just like lowered my head and I walked even faster. And by the end of the day, I kind of let it go, and I'd shaken it off and whatever. And I was on the train back home to see a friend of mine, and I was sat opposite this guy, and the guy took out his phone and started taking photos of me, and I could see because of the reflection in the window behind him. And I thought, do you know what? I've had enough. So I took my earphones out, and I was like, "Do you want me to pose?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Do you want me to pose? I can see you taking a photo of me." And he was like, what? And he panicked, and he was like, "Well, yeah, what kind of fucking man wears nail varnish? What's wrong with you?" And I mean, it was like 5:30, the train was packed, it was peak hour, and no one around me said a word. I think that sometimes is what is more annoying, and what hurts more is that there's people who you can see are uncomfortable and whatever, but I mean, no one said anything. And it's 2018, like, I live in London, it's meant to be the most diverse and accepting city, and this is still happening. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I in no way dress down my style, my flamboyance, my femininity to please anybody's needs, but when these things happen, there's only so many times you can kind of laugh it off before you just snap. And what I want to know is, like, what do they get out of it? What do you get out of it from doing those things? Like, what do you achieve? And the thing is, I wish I could say that like these 3 things are just like one-off occurrences and whatever, but it's a tiny glimpse into the everyday things that happen, you know, like the dirty looks, the little whispers, people laughing or pointing, and you're like, and I mean, I've got 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth, like I don't look that different from anyone else, but I mean, seriously, like, and God help me if I decide to go north of the capital. Like, I mean, I've lived in London now for 2.5 years, and I've been back home to Doncaster many times, and there has not been a single time where I have not been verbally abused in some sort, you know, like faggot, puff, queer, dirty fucker. And I mean, sometimes they are a little more creative, but I mean, like I said, it's the fact that like, yes, that happens and it's frustrating, and you've got to accept that there are small-minded people out there, but so many people just sit by and let it happen. And that's what sticks, I think, is that you feel so alone. I think sometimes the queer community are made to feel like we should be grateful, you know, 50 years ago we're nowhere near as far as we are now, and blah blah blah. And yes, while we are grateful, we still need to get so much further. Like, we are still not at a point where anyone is equal. And I think, much like women's rights is not just about the right to vote, queer rights is not just about the right to get married, and it's about being able to walk down the street without the fear of some small, ignorant-minded person shouting abuse at you on the street, you know. Since coming out and kind of loving that part of who I am, I've never at all questioned my identity in that way. But these people and these words, like, they just knock something out of me. Like, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of pride, you know, even a little bit of hope. Like, it forces me to try and walk more manly. It forces me to be less expressive, you know, it makes me question my clothes, my hair, and it makes me feel less me, like me is not good, you know, that's how it makes you feel. And I think sometimes, you know, they probably forget what's happened the moment that they've said it. But these 3 things now have been sat with me for nearly 3 days. And I'm a person, you know, and I feel things and I care about things and I hurt. And those words I've carried with me, and it's just a constant reminder of the world we live in, one where groups of people are constantly being misinformed that they aren't normal, that they aren't valued, you know, and they're made to feel less than because of people like that. And I get so annoyed at myself for letting it happen, but by not doing anything, I am actually allowing it to be okay. By bystanders not doing anything, they're allowing it to be okay. And there's that famous quote about people who watch injustice are just as bad as the people doing injustice. That's because hate is not normal, and someone hurling abuse at someone on the street is not normal. And I spent most of last night just in tears, and I didn't sleep last night because I just was thinking and questioning, you know, I literally, when those things happen, I question myself, and I question who I am, what I'm wearing, what am I doing, why am I wrong, all those things. Questions that I answered long ago that I'm actually not any of those, like I am perfectly fine just the way I am. But I think I'm encouraging and I'm urging everyone to just stand up a bit more, like to just stand up against those things. Like, don't sit and watch that happen, don't let that be a normal thing, because at the end of the day I'm quite resilient and I am quite strong, but other people aren't, and you don't know how it's going to affect them, you know. There's that, it's so cliche, you know, I'm strong as one, I'm strong as my own, but we're stronger together. So wrap your arms around someone who needs it, you know, tell them that they are okay, and stand up against people who are saying things. We all just need to be kinder, you know. We're just all trying to make it in this insane world, and I think we just need to be nicer to everyone. It's just, we're coming so far, and though yes, there's still a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, I think we can do a lot more about the everyday things that are happening in this world. And yeah, I hope that everyone can start to be a little kinder to each other.